thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome, everyone, for episode 389 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing. Recorded live in front of a studio audience of Discord supporting members. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
We really are recorded live in front of a live studio audience.
It's a very, very fired up studio audience.
They're ready to party this week. They know it's episode 389. They know what that means. Do you know what that means, Tommy?
Oh, yeah, of course I know what it means.
Of course. I don't think anything else needs to be said. No, I don't think I got to tell them. I think if you don't know, it's one of those things you can't afford to know if you don't already know. What I do know about this week's episode is it is brought to you by Build Fast Formula. Are you tired of supplements that just don't work? You take them, you wait a few minutes or maybe an hour or two and feel absolutely jack diddly squat. Most supplements are underdosed, contain fillers, cost-cutting compounds, and those annoying damn proprietary blends, which just confuse you. And they just don't work. Maybe it's not your fault that you keep bombing your PR attempts, have low energy in the gym, and can't gain lean muscle. Maybe your supplements simply are stinky poo. Well, our fellow South Dakotans at Build Fast Formula are making high-quality product formulas that contain clinically dosed, research-backed compounds with no unnecessary fillers so you can build towards your goals faster and finally feel a difference in the gym. Massenomics listeners, listen up, Massenomics listeners. You can snag your first formula, your first order from Build Fast Formula at 10% off. That's buildfastformula.com, and you use discount code Massenomics when you check out. And if you want to save even more money, you upgrade your order to a subscription. You save an additional 10% off. So you stack the 10% on the 10%. I think that equals like 100% off.
Yeah, 10 times 10.
10 times 10. Again, that's code Massenomics, 10% off your first order, buildfastformula.com. Thank you.
And today's show is also brought to you by SwissLink. In 1995, Maurice Big Mo Huffman founded SwissLink with the mission to bring authentic Swiss Army goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices. Now, for nearly 3 decades, Big Mo has been traveling far and wide in search of the best items from military forces around the world. Big Mo doesn't only find authentic military clothing for SwissLink, he brings in everything you can imagine from Swiss bayonets to Czech microscopes. SwissLink.com is also home to the SwissLink Classic Wool Blankets. They're an ideal mix of 80% wool and 20% recycled fibers. It's that special blend that provides a soft, luxurious feel while maintaining all the benefits of wool. Do you wish you could wear your blanket all the time? Well, now new to the lineup is the SwissLink Classic Wool Pants. That's right, pants made of wool. SwissLink's exceptional collection and dedication to quality customer service distinguishes them from the competition. Enjoy a 15% discount on your next purchase at SwissLink.com by entering code MASS at checkout. That's MASS to save 15% at SwissLink.com.
Still waiting for that first Massenomics listener to buy those wool pants, confirm to us that they've purchased the wool pants. I want to see it.
Someone's got to do
Somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to do it. Who is it going to be?
Got to be someone.
Go down in Massenomics history as the first SwissLink wool pants wearer.
Yeah. Tanner, the Discord's lighting up. Your mustache is extra sassy tonight.
Really, I did a little, I don't know if you could tell, but I
There's
added
been
a
some
little
styling
flair
going
to my
on
stuff.
there, yeah.
Yeah. It's, I did not use pomade. It's just the classic old,
It's
loop-a-de-doop with my fingers.
Is your mustache pointing up? Or are you happy to see me, Tanner?
I'm not positive because I don't track it to know, but I may be working on the longest I've ever gone without trimming any of my facial hair whatsoever.
Really?
Like my mustache, like the hairs on my mustache, like if I pull them down, they cover like yeah, so it's getting really hard to eat. Like I've been about this area before, but I think I'm actually getting to the point
you're in PR territory.
Like my mustache it's getting hard to eat food. Like everything I eat, I'm also like chewing on my mustache basically at this point. It has to be on a fork or a spoon delivery. Even actually spoon delivery is not good. It needs to be fork delivery items. Yeah. I mean, I still do it all, but it's just like. Have
you tried chopsticks? See if that makes it any easier.
I can't use chopsticks to be like, I'm not going to try and be someone I'm not. And I don't want to, I'm not going to act like I know how to use chopsticks. You know, I'm not going to pretend that I'm good at that.
Yeah. If you don't know what you're doing, you should probably stay away, I guess.
I can barely use traditional silverware. So
there's a lot going on there.
I am about ready for shaving a haircut 2 bits though, but this is the classic thing. I'm always holding out for like, there's always something coming on and I always want to leave it for something coming on. And like, I really was waiting for the Lift Hard Leave Easy Classic. That's been like months ago now. And then I'm like, well, we're making this trip to be on Table Talk and stuff. And I'd really like to have, well, I kind of want to have a ridiculous mustache and beard for the Table Talk because we get a lot of PR out of that. And I like it looks better with distinguishable characteristics, I think.
All that peacocking.
You know?
Well, and then, the Arnold's just around the corner. And then after that, the Lift Hard Leave Easy Classic again is just around the corner from that. So you might be having to hold out for a few more years.
I'm going to make it through this trip to Ohio. When I come back from that, I think I am trimming the facial hair.
Like, are we talking trimming or removing?
Well, not fully removing. Okay. I did that like once in the last year, and it just looks.
Well, that was like 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Maybe it has been like 2 years by now.
It was when we did the first Drink Spotter ad, so that was like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, that's been a while. And that just looks too weird for me.
Very
but
drastic.
Like even if I trim it down drastically, it looks pretty weird at this point. If I just trim my mustache, it would look weird right now, where it's like, because if you can't see like my lips, like there's very little of my mouth that's visible when it's like this. So, but I think I'm gonna get a haircut too, but not I'm not going back to the crew cut, but I
trim it.
I gotta trim it because it's like the brushing it and stuff. Like when I used to be able to when I could brush all of my hair like that was fine.
Nice stroke.
Well, not in one swoop, but like that. The stroke of my arm behind my neck went far enough. Now, what I have to do to brush my hair, I have to do this thing. I couldn't bring it forward.
To me,
and I have to go like this.
I can't brush my hair because it's too curly. But to me, the idea of even brushing behind my head sounds insane. Like to me, it would always be you bring it forward and then brush it in front of you.
Well, see, I wanted about the length where I go like this catches most of it. So, and right now my hair is like down to right here, and also like just the stray hairs and stuff they're so long now that I'm just everywhere. Like they're everywhere. It's starting to piss me off. There's aspects of it that are pissing me off right now, so that's why I'm getting that's why I'm actually going to trim. And the ponytail thing I do is getting even trickier just because it's so like
much.
Yeah. Like I'm just like, it doesn't do the thing. I'd have to learn a new thing and I'm not prepared to learn a new
That's
thing.
That's the advantage I have of like curly hair is that it kind of just does its own thing. So it's going to go where it wants to go. So I don't have to mess with it as much.
Like it actually doesn't. I should have learned a new thing like 2 monthers ago.
Your wife would for sure know how. She's got that thing down. Whatever.
Well, my wife has hair. That's I know. Like, as long as mine is, hers is way longer than mine is.
She can tie that thing in a bow tie, and it just looks like there's nothing there. The first time you told me how long her hair was, I didn't believe you until I saw that picture. I'm like, whoa, her hair's like many feet long.
Yes. So big trim ups coming maybe, unless we get back from there, and then I think
I'm riding too high on this.
Well, I don't like to lose the look too much though either, but the beard grows back.
The beard's pretty easy
that
to
doesn't
come
take
back,
long. Yeah. The hair,
you never know.
I'm not ready for a crew cut, but I've seen some old videos and stuff where it's more like this. I'm like, I could go for
it. Looks like a real civilized guy right there.
Right.
A guy that really cares about his hygiene.
Like when I go out and I was at the Northern State Wolves football game this weekend. And there's just a ton of people I never have my hair. I always have my hair like this, pulled back. And so I'm explaining something to someone that knows it way better than I am. So I'm not really telling you this.
For the greater audience.
This is a discussion for the audience because you know far better than I do. But like when you have it up all the time, that looks really normal. Then when people see you with it down, they're like, "Whoa, I didn't know you looked like that." And that's kind of how long my hair is now. Like when it's down and I'm out and it's windy, it's like, it's long, very like where people are like, women are like, wow, my hair has never been that long. I've heard that from so many women lately that are like, I've never had my hair that long,
Yeah.
God,
if you're going to do it, you got to do it. What are you waiting for?
Right.
Live a little. Come on.
Right. YOLO, you only live once. So I don't know I actually forgot what my point was. I can probably just stop talking about the hair for
long
now.
hair. Trials and tribulations.
Okay. I did have an important update here, not related to mustaches and hair and stuff like that. Sam Sulek Watch 2023 subscriber count. Well, I'm going to do a weekly subscriber count update.
I think
on
that's
his
good.
YouTube.
Just to keep this momentum in touch here.
Because I'm pretty sure last week. Do you have any idea when we recorded last week what I might have said it was at?
8 something? 8.
I think it was like 860.
Okay, yeah.
840, 860. So how much do you think he's gone up in 1 week? We actually recorded that on Thursday last week, so it's not even
6
been
days.
A week.
I don't know. Has he gone up 50,000?
Today he is at 970,000 YouTube
100,000?
subscribers. So gone over 100,000 in 6 days.
Are we going to find out that he has some Liver King thing going on where he's actually a 30-year-old man and this was actually all orchestrated by a marketing agency?
This would be quite the
all right. I gotta see. Okay, this doesn't even make sense because Liver King only has 289,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
And he had a whole group of people orchestrating this thing that he has going on. That is insane.
It's wild. And which reminds me, if you haven't checked out unless you're listening live, if you're listening live, this video comes out tomorrow. But if you're listening, anyone other than people listening live, make sure to check out our YouTube, The Rise of Sam Sulek video. If you're listening to this right now and you're saying, who the heck is Sam Sulek? Don't go to his channel. Go to the Massenomics YouTube channel and watch our video in about 7 or 8 minutes. You too will know who Sam Sulek is and why he is having such a meteoric rise to power.
We put our investigative team on him and found out every last detail.
Yes. But it is wild. So he's like we said, he's gone up over 100,000 subscribers in this last.
Doesn't even make sense. Are you Are you tracking his Instagram numbers at all?
Yeah, he has like 2 posts and he has well over 500,000
subscribers. Are you seeing how much is that growing at a steady rate?
Let me check because I kind of had a bearing of where it was and I haven't looked. No, whoa. It was at like 500,000 the last time I looked. You know what he's at now on Instagram with 2 posts? 902,000.
That's so much. Okay.
It's crazy.
At some point, he has to sell out here and just start being sponsored and selling shit because he'll make so much money.
Sell out and bro down.
Dang, no kidding.
Yeah. Isn't that wild? Is that the wildest
numbers
thing?
That just don't even make any sense.
We try so hard
for just
to get like
the better part of a decade
for just scraps.
To the point where you could actually almost use the saying countless hours.
I think our problem is we haven't been like working on a sick ass pump enough lately.
That is probably the problem.
Oh, Keith asked if he scraps. No, he's not scraps. I just wish we had 5,000 Keiths. Yeah. And then I'm just talking about number wise. Like we just need more. We just need more Davids into the puzzle. Something that's never been said before. We don't have enough Davids.
More Davids. All right, we just need more Davids in their basement that like orange, and we're set.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's Sam Sulek Watch. Most recent update. This is September 13th, so we'll keep you posted. Next week, he's obviously going to be over 1 million by the next time I refresh this page.
I think it's growing exponentially, so I mean, by the end of the year, he could be the biggest account on Instagram and YouTube.
You know what I like? A lot of times people use the phrase like growing exponentially,
Not actually knowing what it
like without paying any care to what actually
what
growing
exponentially
exponentially
is, not
means.
just
Like
linearly.
exponentially would mean if he was growing exponentially and he's at this level now, that would mean like the next time we look, he has like fucking 5 trillion follow, like a number that we don't even like exponents of the size, the numbers he's at. It becomes numbers I don't even know how to say.
When most people just mean it's just on a very steady, predictable.
It's growing really
line.
fast. Yeah, that's not at all exponentially growing. Except for at the very beginning, I suppose.
When you went from 1 to 2,
grows
2
to
to
4.
4.
Yeah.
And you are growing exponentially.
Yeah. So that was my YouTube update, was what Sam Sulek has got going
good.
on there.
Is that? I think that's one of
Pretty
the
wild.
newest, fastest growing segments on the podcast, if I had to say.
That is, I think. SSB hacks. You know, you talked about using your safety squat bar last week in the gym, and we got some feedback as to alternative methods if you don't have a collar.
I put one of these hacks to use already. I believe.
What did you do?
I don't want to give credit where it wasn't due, but I think Big Ryan said use your wrist strap to hold the plate in place, and I did the wrist strap method.
What that was? Wasn't that from the Minnesota Department
that
of
who
Safety?
said it? I
Lifter
don't know.
safety. That was.
I seriously cannot remember.
Yeah, I think that was goes by Big Diet Tanner in the Discord. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I actually am not sure. No, maybe it was one of the Ryans. I think it was Big James.
Someone said it, and I did it, and it worked because, of course, there still was. Everyone's saying Big Diet Tanner. Wow. Okay, I really got that one wrong. It was Diet Tanner. Because of course you got to assume that when they said, "Oh yeah, we'll get that other collar in here," yeah, that was definitely not in there. But the one was.
That's a good hack, though.
Yeah,
that's a really good idea.
That was to provide me level safety, and you definitely do not need wrist straps when you're using the safety squat bar. So,
right. Someone else showed me something where they use a regular collar, because the safety squat bar
diameter
collar or the
sleeve,
is just slightly smaller. So you use a regular collar on the sleeve, and then you just like put something in there, like they had like a little towel.
See, then you got to have a little something,
and then they close
the problem there.
Yeah. I really liked the hack that you used, then the wrist straps. When he told me that, I'm like, oh yeah, perfect. You always got your wrist straps with you.
That was.
And it might not hold up if you're going to tilt the bar sideways and stuff like that, but it's going to keep the plates from
from
walking down the ends of the.
Okay, and on that subject, I actually have another piece of commentary. Now that I've gone to this other gym a couple times, and I've got to explore the tools a little more. There are Ohio power bars there, so that is nice to have a real power bar in my that my hands can touch again. One thing though, we had mentioned a while ago that I said maybe the worst offender of all things for plates is 45s that are not the standard 45 size. How that might be, the very worst thing you can have as far as plates go. There might be something that's slightly worse, slightly more annoying than a 45 that's
octagon
no,
plates.
not even that. I don't know if I've ever used this. So they're rubber coated plates, like you see in a lot of commercial gym settings, but maybe this is how they all are. I'm just not familiar with it. Even the rubber coating is on the inside where it touches the sleeve. And those plates are so hard to pull off if you're not pulling them perfectly straight out. They just stick. Like you basically can't take them off with one hand. Most squat racks, deadlift, whatever, you get the bar, you can just grab it with one hand. It's metal on metal. It slides. Where this, nope, you can't do that at all. You can't even, unless you have like perfectly even pressure, the bar, it's like stuck on the bar. So that's super annoying. And then one other thing, what's the millimeter on a Texas squat bar? Is it 32?
Yeah, it's actually like 31.75.
I don't know why there are 32 millimeter power bars in this gym. So bizarre to me why someone makes a 32 millimeter power bar. What is the reasoning for that? I was not familiar with that as a thing. Yes.
That's what they are. So they're the size of a squat bar.
They're 30. The first time I went in the gym and touched it, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm just not used to holding a real power bar. And then again, I'm like, no, something's off here. I look at the end cap. It says, because I was thinking, is this a 55-pound bar or something? It says 45-pound bar, 32 millimeter. and I did not know that was a thing.
That's not a high quality bar.
That's shitty for sure.
That's yeah, because that's not what standard like. I shouldn't say the word standard. That's weird when you're talking about barbells and weights and stuff, because sometimes actually standard means something else.
Well,
but that's not like
in the conversation
widely
of industry
acceptable.
standards,
Right. Yeah, that's not within industry standards, like generally accepted industry standards of like decent equipment. No, that's not good. But they do have some Rogue power bars.
They have an Ohio power bar with the blue Cerakote on it, which I've. I don't think we don't have an Ohio power bar with Cerakote, do we?
That black one is actually Cerakote.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if that was the zinc finish
black
or whatever the hell they call those things.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that, but yeah. So there's a blue one in there, and then there's just like a regular. It's not stainless, but whatever it's called, the regular one, the regular.
Yeah, we've got one of each, and the Rogue power bars we've got one of each actually, but we have a black one that is Cerakote. You know, I know it is because it says Rogue on it too.
Yeah. Oh,
you know,
yes,
literally
right.
says
Yes.
Rogue,
Yep.
so that's like painted on.
Yeah, you are correct.
Yeah. Are you
very
getting thirsty over there at all? I'm very thirsty too. We've got a what's in the can fan submit segment, and I've got a card to go along with it. Do
It's
you have
right
your
here.
can ready? We each have
I
our cans
intentionally
ready
turned the
on our
can
own
away
ends.
from me so I couldn't see what it was. I want to be caught by surprise when this happens.
Okay, and mine's wrapped up, so I also don't know what it is. Okay. Hey, Tanner and Tommy. Thank you for making the world a better place. Hope you enjoy these sparkling waters. Well, I guess I gave away something there, but keep on being big. From Big Jose from Boston. So Big Jose from Boston sent us each a can. So are you going to drink these without knowing
I haven't.
without
I just
looking
saw
at
that
what
the
it
can is
then?
black. I had it turned away from me, so
Okay.
I don't actually know what it says
Okay.
yet. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm going to make sure not to look at it,
fizziness
too.
really shot out of there.
Okay, I got my.
Wow,
It's got a crispy crack to it.
there is something going on here.
I'm getting hints of cola.
Is this just you reverting back to your old ways? I can't tell if it's that or if I'm tasting candy in some way.
Yeah.
There is something odd there. There's something.
We each got to take a crack on just an absolute guess of what we think the flavor is here.
I want to. God, this is. I don't know. Is it. See, I want to say lime, and I don't think lime's right at all, but.
I'm gonna go
I'll
classic
say,
cherry cola, just for the good old, just for the
what's
good old days of something else. It's not sparkling water, we know that, and it's not like fruity flavored, like not like It's,
And then part of me wants to say cucumber, but I don't think that's right. You know, when in doubt, you say cucumber. It's a good filler flavor. All right, cucumber lime. There we go. That's what I'll say. Should we take a look? Should we take a look here, Tanner? Okay.
yeah, let's take a look.
We got the small batch Polar Seltzer jalapeno citrus margarita. Okay, so lime wasn't totally off.
Jalapeno citrus margarita. Jalapeno.
Now I totally get the jalapeno. See, that was in my mind. I'm going to give myself credit. I said cucumber because I was getting something that seemed a little vegetable-y in there, you know?
Yeah. I can tell the jalapeno. There even is almost like it's not heat. It's not like spicy.
But it has like that vegetable flavor, you know, of a pepper.
Yeah, it does. It does.
And yeah, the lime, I think the lime comes in there, a little bit of obviously the citrus margarita. It's got to be lime, right?
Yeah.
So Polar does small batch seltzers. Wait, so is there alcohol in here?
This is cool.
Oh, no alcohol. Do you like how you have to ask to even know if there's alcohol and stuff now?
I didn't think that there was, but when you said that,
it
I'm
says
like, oh, wait,
small
maybe
batch
there is.
seltzer, which makes me think if something's going to have alcohol in it, it's that. Technical difficulties for a second there, Tanner. We were in the midst of discussing this Polar small batch seltzer, and I'm not.
It was such a crazy drink that it made all our systems go haywire.
It knocked my Wi-Fi right off. It was so intense. But this was the jalapeno citrus margarita. I think.
What do you give it? What's your JD Power and Associates rating on this?
It is. I gotta give it credit. This is one of the more unique flavors I feel like I've had.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably somewhere like a 3, though. I would have trouble really choking more than one of these down. You know.
Yeah.
I honestly, my burps feel hot in my throat for some reason.
Yeah. I was leaning a little 3.5-ish, but actually, I think you're right. You actually are swaying me. I think this is a 3 if I'm really thinking.
I think by the time it gets to
what
the
I'd say,
end,
it's not too bad, though.
no,
like,
flavor-wise, they're doing great. And if you
Yeah.
like beverages that have a spicy flavor, I like spicy food. I don't really like spicy beverages.
Right. I do like
so that makes
overall the branding, and I just like the small batch. Like, that's awesome. That's really cool.
I'm really curious if they have other things that are in this small batch family, or if this is just a one-off thing. Because if there are, I'd love to try them because the flavor is spot on this.
Yeah, it is. It's good. Yeah, you know what else is spot on?
What?
Juggernaut AI. Juggernaut Training Systems is the leader in strength. They've helped thousands of athletes from beginners to world champions maximize their results and reach their goals. They deliver principle-based coaching through their cutting-edge app, the Juggernaut AI training app. It's what we use. It works on your iPhone. It works on your Android. If you're crazy enough to use an Android, should even work there. I can't verify from personal experience, but I do know that it works really well on
I know
iPhone.
a guy.
Yeah. No, we do. It is the training that we use, and a bunch of people we know use, and just from personal anecdotal experience, it works really well. The app is awesome. I think the training is awesome, and if you're interested in trying it, the barrier to entry is really low here. If you've heard us talk about this like several weeks, and you're like, yeah, I'm kind of curious, but I don't want to mess with it, all I'd say is go to juggernautai.app, go to the website. There's a free trial even. You can try that, I think, for 30 days. After that, if you like it, which you probably will, then you can sign up and pay for it. Use discount code Massenomics. Saves you 10% and ends up being about $30 a month after that. So check it out. That's my honest pitch. Discount code Massenomics, juggernautai.app.
Our guest is here, Tanner. Should I read an ad or get our guest in? I'm letting you call the shots here.
Oh, let's read one more ad.
Okay.
Then at the end, we're not cramming them.
All right. Today's show is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid 70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell, building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. Fast forward to today, and Buddy has now released the 29mm Texas Power Bar. It's strong as a house with the best knurling, and it's maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, and world and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on Texas Power Bars. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com.
Thank you, Texas Power Bars. All right, now should we get Big John, the Viking, on the horn?
I'm ready when you are.
All right, let's do it. We've got Big John, the Viking Mauser, on this week. We're excited to get you on. John, I guess, first of all, I'd say this has been a long time coming, probably, huh? We've talked at the Arnold several years in a row, probably, when we've been there. You're at the Arnold every single year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I started harassing you guys maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and glad it worked out.
Yeah. I always told you it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, for sure.
But some really good things are just worth the wait too.
It's building that anticipation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited.
Okay, sweet. So, well, we've got a bunch of stuff. We got a bunch of stuff written down that we want to talk to you about. But what would you give someone as your elevator speech if they're asking you, like, what are you kind of into in the world of lifting and strength and stuff like that? You have quite the wide range of stuff that you do. Your some of your old time strongman stuff, and like, what would be your little elevator pitch though? If you ran into someone on the street and they just wanted to know a little bit.
So if you read about some of the old time strongmen from back in the day, a lot of them were like Olympic weightlifters, but they would do professional old time type strongman shows, bending horseshoes, breaking chains, doing all that kinds of stuff. So they were not just doing weightlifting. They were also doing strongman, and they were doing these odd lifts, one-handed deadlifts, those sorts of things. And in addition to that, most of them looked fairly strong as well. Obviously, I don't look like a bodybuilder, but some of those guys did. And I always thought it was cool that they could be really high level at all those different disciplines. So when I first started, I got into strongman because it had a lot of different disciplines within it. It wasn't just 2 or 3 lifts, it was a bunch. But then I realized there's all these other strength sports too: moss wrestling, arm wrestling, stone lifting. And I thought, well, man, I got to do all of these. So that's kind of what I'm after. I want to be known. I want to be able to walk into any of those and land on the podium.
So is there anything you haven't done yet? Anything, event competing wise that you haven't really dipped your toes into, but would really like to?
Yeah, there's a bunch of obscure stuff. And I actually haven't done a weightlifting meet, and I haven't done a multi-plat powerlifting meet. So I'm planning to do that at some point.
And so when you say obscure stuff, like what's some of the obscure stuff?
So there's a German strength sport. I'm going to butcher the name of it because I don't speak German, but it's something like finger halken. And it's a type of, you sit down and there's a table between you and your opponent, and they put this leather strap around your middle fingers, and you have to pull the other person either over the table or they have to let go. John Paul Sigmarsson used to do this. I think he's credited with being undefeated. I would love to do that.
I could see that really hurting.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Just all sure that weight in one finger, So it's kind of like moss wrestling with one finger, sort of.
Yeah, I'd say it's similar to moss wrestling and like one finger arm wrestling kind of mix there.
Yeah. Have you been following along at all with Martin's YouTube, like his Strength Unknown series? Like, I would guess you would be a fan of that if you've checked it out at all.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen every episode, but I've seen a handful of them.
Yeah, because there's some interesting stuff he runs into there where I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm pretty involved in like these strength sports and stuff, and yet he's still coming across things that are widely popular in other countries that I've literally never even seen and heard of before.
Yeah, he did that basket lifting with the square stones. I would love to give that a shot. I don't know where you can do that in America, so probably be some travel involved with that. But I'm all about it.
Yeah, that's cool. Here's a thing. I'll hit you with this right away. We've been talking about this for several weeks on the Massenomics podcast, and I think you'll be a uniquely interesting guy to get your take on this because you do so many different feats of strength. Okay, so someone walks into your gym or to your training area, and you've never seen this lifter before. They're new to you. You don't know how strong they are. You can't really tell by looking at them, and you're only allowed to have them do one lift, and you have to gauge overall how strong they are by just watching them do this one lift. They're only going to get to perform this one exercise that you pick. So, and your goal is to be able to most accurately gauge how strong they are just by seeing them do that one lift. What lift are you going to have them do?
I'm going to say probably a farmer's walk.
That's an interesting one. Yeah.
I think the high handles, make the actual lifting technique part kind of takes some of that out of it. Once you move it that short distance up, you got to walk with it. There's not a lot, walking. There's not a lot of technique involved. If we're talking pure strength, and I'm a big hand strength guy.
Right.
If you don't have strong hands, I don't care what else you can do. So the farmer's walk is going to hit the hands a little bit, the back, and it's very low technique.
That's an interesting
good answer.
That is, and I want to say that's an interesting take, because the one thing you said there, now having asked a few people this question, I think you have a really good point. I like where you said the thing with strong hands, because Tanner, from our experience in the gym, there are guys that are strong that don't necessarily have a strong grip, but I don't know if we have any guys in the gym that have a strong grip that I wouldn't say are strong. Did I say that in a way that made sense?
No, I agree with that, generally speaking, too. The one caveat I would say, occasionally you come across someone with huge hands.
Yeah.
That just allows them to do things that people can't do with normal size hands. Like they just, have like this hand size that just,
makes some of that easier. But
overall, I agree with what you're saying. Yeah. I think the farmer's walk, and also you got to have like just a certain ability, even a high handles, just to like deadlift. If you're going to do a fairly heavy farmer's carry, you got to be able to do the pick off the ground, obviously. So yeah, that's a pretty good one.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it when we get new ideas there. That's always good.
Yes. Yes. This might be hard to answer. What do you think is the oddest feat of strength that you've ever performed? What's like if you showed someone, they'd be like, yeah, that's crazy.
The oddest, I guess that depends on what the definition of odd is. Well, I did a bench press. That's an old barbell lift from back in the day. A lot of people don't do it anymore. Kettlebell people kind of do it. But I did it with an old motorcycle. It didn't have the engine in it, so wasn't 1,000 pounds or anything. But yeah, I did a bench press with an old motorcycle a few years ago. I think it's on my Instagram. It's probably like halfway down the page or something.
Okay. Yeah, that would be an interesting one, no doubt about that. Mm-hmm. Do you train? How do I say that? Is a lot of your training like regular-ish deadlifts and regular-ish squats and that sort of thing? You're getting strong, and then you're utilizing your strength for odd lifts, or do you spend a lot of your training in the odd lifts?
No, strength matters. I'm a big strength guy. I think you need to get strong. In fact, when I do a competition, I don't do it like a lot of people do. I do a competition. I don't even do the events before I go compete. I usually do them like 2, maybe 3 times before I go. I'm a big believer you just have to be strong, and you can do most of this stuff. Of course, sometimes mobility might be a thing, and you might, for certain stuff. But in the beginning, you might have to practice things like Atlas stones and stuff like that to kind of get the technique down. But at the end of the day, just being strong is what matters the most. And then I just usually do a couple practice sessions. And I don't even do those lifts heavy most of the time. For example, I did a show June last year. There was the Atlas stone to shoulder. I think the weight was 285. It was for reps, most reps in a minute or whatever. I think the heaviest stone I did in training was like 225. And I placed top 3, I think, in that event at nationals. So there was like, I don't know, 30, 40 people in my class.
Yeah.
So I view those events as practice more so than strength training.
Yeah, that makes sense. And what was that at? That was like at Strongman Nationals or what was that at?
USS Nationals.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So have you done any recent strongman competition? Like is doing strongman competitions or nationals and stuff like that, is that on your radar right now? Or are you working on other stuff, or what are you doing?
I think there's a strongman competition I do every year in November in Maryland. It's called Full Sturker. It's at the Viking Con Festival. I've been doing that every year, but this year it landed at the same time as like 10 other events. So I trained some people, so I may end up at the Olympia. So I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to make it this year. But I've been doing arm wrestling tournaments recently. That's kind of the thing I've been doing recently. And then other than that, I don't have anything planned through the rest of the year, I don't think.
Yeah, I've seen you do some arm wrestling. So have you had a long history in that, or is that a newer sport to you, or have you been doing that for a while then?
So that's a hard question. People ask me how long I've been arm wrestling. It's kind of a hard question because years and years ago, I mean, probably 10 years ago, I did it as part of a strongman competition. But I didn't know anybody, so I didn't train for it. I just went and did it, and was okay at it, I guess. And then years after that, I went to the Salt Lake City FitCon to do the stone lifting championships and a sumo wrestling tournament. So I did the stone lifting championships.
I got to interrupt though. I just really like all the different events getting peppered in the story along the way here. Sumo wrestling just getting casually thrown in there is good.
Yeah.
Sumo wrestling's awesome. But I did the stone lifting championships, and then I walked across the expo, changed clothes into my Mawashi, and was doing a sumo tournament. And while I'm standing there, this guy's like, "Hey, we're arm wrestling over here. Do you want to arm wrestle?" And I said, "Well, I'm doing the sumo tournament." And he was like, "Well, if you're wrestling, we'll just wait for you." And I said, "Okay, how much is it?" And he told me I paid him. So I was doing both. I would like sumo a guy and then walk over and arm wrestle a guy back and forth. But again, I didn't really train for it, but it was really fun. And then sometime after that, I found a local guy who's pretty good, and I started kind of training with him. And then he kind of fell out of it. And then I was kind of on my own a little bit, and then I found a team. So actually training with a team is pretty new, but I've had exposure to it before, like prior.
Yeah, that makes sense. What your book that you sell it on Amazon and is it Forgotten Strength 101? Is that the title, or what's the title of your book that you've got?
Yeah, that's it. Forgotten Strength 101.
Yeah, and I hadn't known that much about it. I was kind of looking into it and looking for a while. So how long have you had that? How long have you been selling that book?
Oh man, I probably did that in maybe 2015, 2016, maybe.
Okay. And for anyone listening that's just hearing us talking about now, I know you can find it on Amazon. There's probably a number of places you can get to it, but Amazon would be an easy place for a lot of people, I would think. And what's the book about? Like, what's the cliff notes of what you would find out about in the book?
Okay, so it's a manual. It's a step-by-step manual. I go over horseshoe bending, the basics of horseshoe bending. There's actually a small progression chart in there I put, so it tells you which horseshoes to like start with, and then kind of up to the intermediate level, because there's all kinds of different brands. So you kind of have to know that stuff when you get into that. Then there's the human hammer feats, where you take a nail with your bare hand and you drive it through a board. And again, I give a step-by-step. There's pictures, all kinds of stuff, just how to do that. And then the old school, just tearing a deck of cards in half. It's just a step-by-step on how to do that, and a whole progression. And there's a progression chart there too that tells you like which decks are like maybe easier to start with, and then the more difficult, like you get cards from the Bellagio. Good luck.
So to me, the idea of tearing a deck of cards in half seems insane. Like, that seems so hard. Is that something that even someone with, let's say, like a moderate level of strength has the capability of doing, or do you really need to have crazy strong hands to pull that one off?
So yeah, it's a lot of thumb strength actually. So if your pinch grip is good, if you can hang on, kind of, you'll be pretty good at it. And then it's going to kind of be dictated by how much you can put your body through your wrist, if that makes sense. But I would say most people can get pretty good at it. I trained a 13-year-old soccer girl, and she did 3/4 of a deck.
Damn.
Now that wasn't on deck one, but
yeah, but still, like you can. Yeah, that's.
Is
really
it
cool.
like maybe it's way different than this? But I remember I got taught by someone at one point in time how to rip a phone book in half, and there was almost like a trick to that where I don't even know if you needed to be very strong for that, or if you just like it was like kind of like separating the pages a little bit and you get it right, and like it almost like the first time I was like, oh my God, like that, what the hell just happened?
And
there?
also, Tanner's phone book in his hometown is like 10 pages, so it's
yeah. To be fair, from South Dakota, the phone book was like it was just this card. It was like my mom's number was on it.
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with kettlebell stuff you are, but kettlebells, they have like sports style and hard style, and hard style is like the less kind of techniquey way to do stuff. A lot of the old time strongman feats I kind of view that way. So when it comes to like a phone book, there's like an easier way where if you fold it just right, it's like you're tearing one page at a time. So it can be easier. And then there's like the hard style where you're actually like just brutalizing the thing.
Right.
And it depends, person to person, which one they do. I prefer to do things hard style. I'm not very smart, so I like to do it that way.
Yeah. So what about like tearing the deck of cards in half? Like, I don't want you to give away the secrets of the book, because it'd be better to have someone buy the book. But what is like, even in like, what would the most basic level steps of like being able to do that? Like what's like the 10,000 foot view of how you would like actually tear a deck of cards in half?
Okay, so there's two ways to do it. I teach the hard style way in the book.
Okay.
So you're going to grab it. Let's just assume you're right-handed. You'll grab it with your left hand. You'll be kind of in like you're holding a pistol almost. Yeah, there we go. And so you'll grab it. Let me see if I got something like this box. It's a little big, but
Yep.
So you'll grab it, and the bottom of that deck will be touching that ring finger.
Yeah.
And then you're going to take that other hand, and the thumb of the other hand will touch the knuckle of your index finger. Okay. This is a little big, but I don't know if you can see. Mm-hmm. Now, the hardest part of the whole thing is, how if you take a full sheet of paper and you hold it, it like flops down, but you can kind of like whip and snap and it'll be stiff.
Yeah.
That's the key. So when you have a thing, you want to make an S shape and create a stiffness there, just like when you hold that paper out long ways.
Yeah.
And when you tear a deck of cards, the first tear, I don't actually call it a tear. That first tear, it'll feel like a break, because you should make that deck feel rock solid, and it'll break and then tear.
It almost like becomes brittle because it's so like there's an extra like tautness or stiffness to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't have that stiffness, what happens when you tear it? It just the paper kind of, it'll feel like it's rubber.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I always wondered. I can kind of wrap my head around that a little bit now.
I'm not gonna rip these because these are Massenomics thank you cards, and we need these in case anybody orders any drink spotters or something. But I was for anyone watching on YouTube, John was doing a good demonstration. I was practicing with these cards here too, so I do. That is good instruction. I can understand where you're going with that. Now, wouldn't be able to do it yet, but that's why you need to buy the book then.
Yeah. There's an ebook too, so you can get it on the Kindle or whatever.
Okay. All right. What about? Oh, actually, something I was thinking about. You talked about the hammer. What do you call that when you actually like pound a nail through a board with your, like you become a human hammer, basically.
Human.
Reminded me of someone we've had on the podcast before back in the day. That I wonder if you was an inspiration or that you had any much dealings with. Rest in peace, Big Bud Jeffries. He was always doing that. I don't know.
Yeah, Bud Jeffries is the man.
Yeah. Did you ever have much? Did you ever cross paths with Big Bud? I know he's down in Florida, but.
Yes, I actually Bud Jeffries, oddly enough, was one of the first people I ever seen on Instagram.
That is an odd person for the first one to come across.
And he kind of when I discovered him, I was like, this guy's kind of what I've been wanting to do, because he's good. He was good at everything.
He was,
I mean,
yeah. He was very strong.
Yeah, insanely strong.
And he could bend steel. He could squat. He squatted 1,000 pounds out of the rack. All kinds of stuff. But I met him a few years ago at David Weck's place. I don't know if you know who David Weck is, but Weck had invited me out there. He was just doing like really getting started with his propulsors and his head over foot running mechanic thing. And he wanted strong people out there to help promote this thing. So he invited me out, and I went out, and it just so happens that Bud Jeffries was there. So it was the first time I ever met Bud Jeffries. So it's super cool, because I went out to just like do this thing with David Weck, who I barely knew from anybody. And then here's like my heroes there. So it's super cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Big Bud was the man for sure. What's up with the Mauser block? So is that like you and your brother? Did you guys create that or invent that, or you make that and sell that? What's the story on the Mauser block?
So that was my brother's thing. Predominantly, he invented it. He was having them made. I helped sell them for him, and then I ran some promotions for a while with my training stuff, where if you paid for a year of training, you'd get a free Mauser block and stuff like that. And then a lot of times I would just drive it out to people, so they didn't have to pay for because it's a lot to ship one of those things. But he quit doing that, and he passed the torch on to Frank Gonzalez at Texas Strength Concepts. So
right.
Frank is the official Mauser block dealer. There are other people that make knockoff models, but he's like the guy that we pass the torch to.
So does Frank call it the Mauser block then still, or what? Or does he call it the? Okay. So it is still it does have the Mauser name then officially still.
Yeah, even the people doing knockoffs are calling it a Mauser block.
Oh,
it's kind of like Band-Aids now. It's just
right.
So
the name's just too good.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say that's kind of cool. I mean, it's not cool that if other people are ripping it off, but it's kind of cool in the sense that even they're using the name. Yeah. But it's plate loaded, right? It's a plate loaded block And so I mean, did you play? I mean, have you done a lot of block pressing in your day then? Is that something? Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, it's going to sound like I'm biased, but I actually love the block. It can be a pain to load and stuff, but a lot of strongman stuff is. You just get used to that. But I think it's one of the best, if not the best thing to improve your overhead press with. It's great for carries. I do a lot of like RDLs with it and rows and things like that. Just the way that you have to hold it with that flat finger. I think it has a lot of carryover to natural stones, arm wrestling, all kinds of different stuff. I use it a lot. I think it's one of the best things out there as far as versatility goes.
That's cool. What's the pro wrestling history that you're just talking about? I didn't know much about that. So what's your pro wrestling background?
Well, long before I started strongman, I did pro wrestling. So we kind of got into that real big when I was in late middle school, high school. Of course, we started doing, it was me and my brother and a bunch of friends. We started doing backyard wrestling, of course. And then we lucked into, one of our friends went to college and started rooming with a guy that was a pro wrestler. He had a ring. So we started going down to Glenville State College and messing around in the ring. And people just started showing up and watching, like just wandering into this building. And this guy came in one day and was watching. And it turned out he ran an MMA gym down there and was like some kind of Muay Thai champion, was big in the area, and said he liked what he saw and wanted us to run a show for the women's athletics at Glenville College. And we were like, yeah, man. Well, he ended up getting a hold of NWA TNA, which was like a big promotion back then. They're not around anymore, I don't think. And they sent some people from their sister organization over, and there were some big names. Abyss was there. Jeff Jarrett was there, Rocky Reynolds. And so we opened up, we were like the curtain jerkers for this actual pro wrestling show. And the promoter at the end was like, hey, you guys actually aren't bad. He's like, I want you to come to my wrestling school. So me and my brother started driving out to Parkersburg, which was like 2.5 hours from where we were at the time, to go to this wrestling school. And then next thing you know, we're doing pro wrestling shows and traveling around and getting into all kinds of crazy stuff. And then I got a ton of crazy stories from that. I mean, you can imagine pro wrestling's wild. Right. Then I have to tell you this story because this is like probably one of the funniest. I did a show in Huntington, West Virginia. There's a bar there called Remedies, and the pro wrestling promotion's called 304 Wrestling. I think they still exist. And my gimmick was I was a homeless guy. I was called the Homeless Messiah. I had dreadlocks. Nice. I wore a trash bag as a t-shirt.
So you weren't the Viking.
No, this was a decade before that.
Yeah.
So I go to Huntington. I'd never wrestled at that venue before, but my brother had. So I go into town and I go to this little grocery store and I'm like, what do I need? And I used to bring out a bag of dog food, and I would always buy Cocoa Puffs and pour the dog food out and put the Cocoa Puffs in the bag so I could eat it. So, well, I get the dog food, and then I'm walking and I see these little spray bottles, and I'm like, oh, I need to get that spray bottle because the worst thing you can do is wrestle with dry hair. That's like, you ever notice like all the pro wrestlers?
Yeah, they always are soaked. Yeah.
You never want to get in the ring.
So is it just because like your hair rips out so easy when it's dry? What's the reasoning?
Well, what happened to me is you'll breathe it in.
Oh,
like it's just like so, it's in the air. Yeah. It's just floating.
Right.
I've had it down my throat and I'm pulling it out, trying not to throw up in the middle of a match. Like, so you always wet your hair. It just keeps it down. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, oh, I need to get that spray bottle. That'll make life easy. So I grab the spray bottle and I check out and I leave, and I get there and I'm working with this guy telling him like how the match is going to go and stuff. And then I go out there and I dump half the dog food out, and then I'm looking for the Cocoa Puffs and I'm like, man, I forgot to buy the Cocoa Puffs. I'm like, well, and then keep in mind, I bought the cheapest dog food you could buy. I mean, this stuff was like 50 cents for a jar.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I guess I'll just go out here and eat dog food then. And I go out and I got this bag and I'm walking and I throw that dog food in my mouth and I bite down, and this stuff was so hard. Like, I swear to you, I thought I was going to break my teeth. So I'm like doing a strongman event on the way to the ring, just grinding this stuff up. Yeah. And it sucks all the moisture out of my mouth. I don't know how dogs would even eat this stuff. It's miserable. So the whole match, I'm trying not to throw up because I'm like cotton mouth. This
like coughing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't swallow right. It's like,
did it taste terrible also? Or like, was it like, it's just sand?
It was like sand and cardboard. Like, it didn't taste. It didn't taste bad, but it was like just miserable. But you can't spit it. Like, the smart thing would have just been to spit it out,
Right.
But you can't do that because I'm a homeless guy.
Yeah, you ruin the image.
Presumably,
you can't break character. Yeah. It's like all you can afford to eat is the dog food you brought.
Got a carb load before the match.
That is good. I like that. What I keep seeing it and I can't quite see it all of it. What's on your shirt?
Oh, let me see if I can.
I thought that was a moon, and I wanted to know. I was like, "Is it a wolf howling at a moon?" So,
three possums.
It's 3 possums howling at the moon.
Yeah. So
I just want to hear more about that.
So during the lockdown, COVID in 2020, a possum got in my garage, like he was a little baby, tiny, and I guess he got in there one night, and I closed the door. Never knew he was in there, and they're nocturnal, so every night the door's closed while he's awake. And one day during the day, I was actually benching, and I sit up, and there's this little baby possum walking across the garage, and he looked like he was kind of staggering. So I was like, man, he's probably been in here. He's all dehydrated and stuff. So I grabbed him up and kind of nursed him back to health.
Did you feed him all dog food to get him there?
Well, so a lot of people would, but I was like, I don't know what these things eat. So I started doing all this research, and they have this crazy dietary requirements. So I had to get like all this stuff, nurse him back to health. And then they were like, the moms, if they're that small, it usually means they fell off and the mom left and they won't come back. Like they're just like, peace out. And so
like your dietary requirements are way too strict. Yeah, I'm not raising you. I ain't about that
problem
shit.
Child.
Yeah.
Well, so I was going to release him, but I was in these groups on Facebook where they rehabilitate wildlife, and they're like, he's too small, you can't let him go, like hawks will eat him. So I'm like, okay, so I kept him and got him bigger, and then they're like, well, you've handled him too much, you can't let him go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I have a possum now. So I had a pet possum for a year and a half. They don't live very long, the males. You're lucky if they make it 2 years.
Really?
They all end up they all get congenital heart disease, and their heart gets too big and they die.
Jeez.
Some might say they just loved too much.
Yes. But yes, I had him for a year and a half, and it was amazing. It was awesome. I love possums now. They're just great.
What did you name him?
Well, it was during the lockdown, so we named him Rona.
Okay. Yeah. R.I.P.
So, I mean, what can you actually like play with them? I don't know. What do you do with a possum?
Do they bite?
Well, some do. Generally, no. They'll, when you first, there's like a bonding experience. So they'll like chew on your hand a little when they're young. It doesn't hurt or nothing. And then when the males like start to rut, they'll get a little aggressive and kind of chew on you. But it's not really biting.
Would he ever play possum?
No, they only do that when they get really scared. But
would you ever run up and be like, "Boo"?
Yeah.
And he would be like,
I think by the time he'd been around, like I don't think I could have scared him. Like he did.
Yeah.
He barely acknowledged.
I still can do that to my kids, and they've been around me for a long time. So I don't know. This possum must have been smarter than my kids.
I bought this big. Have you ever seen the big cat wheel? Like it's like for how people put like rodents on a wheel, but they make one for cats. I found one on Facebook Marketplace for like $10, and I went and got it. And I was like, I wonder if he'll run on it. And he'd run on it for hours.
Really?
I mean, just with this look on his face, like he was going somewhere, and he would just trot. Probably, like I've seen him go for 2 or 3 hours.
Damn, that's pretty good.
You know what I probably would have done? Like early on when the people in the Facebook group said, oh, no, he's too little. You can't release him. He'll get eaten by hawks. I would have been like, oh, yeah, okay, I won't. And then I would have released him and been like, yep, I didn't. It's all good. He's really healthy. There's just no pictures anymore.
Well, he was too cool to let go. It was a great experience. And then I had so much fun with it, like with the dietary stuff, because it's kind of like, like I'm already doing crazy dietary stuff myself. So it was like this cool little
with the dog food you're talking about. I assume.
That's the staple. That's the strongman's success is based on how much dog food you can eat. But I was feeding him raw steak and
he was living the good life.
Sardines and raw fish and quail eggs and all kinds of stuff. So it was just like a neat little project.
Yeah, that's cool. So, we were talking about the shirt. If people aren't familiar with you, you do have a unique fashion sense. Where does the inspiration for all that come from?
Oh, that's good. I mean, growing up on pro wrestling, all those guys back in the day, Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior, even the Road Warriors, all those guys.
Who's your favorite wrestler? Do you have a favorite of all time?
Of all time?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, as a kid, it had to be Hulk Hogan, right? I mean,
sure.
But I would say more present day. I think Chris Jericho probably.
Okay, yeah. Is it the Walls of Jericho? Is that one of his finishing moves? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a good choice. And Hulk Hogan, you can't go wrong with Hogan, of course. Good choices. At the Arnold, when we see every year, are you usually competing there or not? I can't remember now. We talked to so many people, and some are doing, and there's about 30 different things you could be doing there, but I'm not sure if you, in those years, if you've been competing in something or not.
I can't remember what I do so much stuff.
Right.
I've done the Moss wrestling at the Arnold a couple years ago. And then I almost always have a client or somebody that's competing in something up there, whether it's arm lifting or strongman or whatever.
Right. Okay. So it depends on year to year what you're there for exactly then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We've got this little game we like to play that I think you're going to be a little bit familiar with. It's called Overrated or Underrated. And we have a special John the Viking Mauser set of topics that are handpicked just for you. So your job on each of them is just to decide if they're underrated or overrated. The important thing to remember is you can't ride the line. You have to definitively say if each one is over or under. But I think you're kind of familiar with all that, but I just wanted to say the rules anyways.
Cool.
Okay. So first one, overrated or underrated bandanas.
Oh, bandanas are underrated. You got pirates wear these things. There's actually a great history of the bandana if you look it up, where it comes from and the culture. And there's a strong bandana history of coal miners in West Virginia, where I'm from. So super underrated. These before baseball hats, this is what people wore. So
what would coal miners wear them, like underneath a helmet sort of thing, or what? Or is okay?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And is it like kind of sweat part of it then, like to be able to keep it out of your eyes and that sort of thing? Is that one of the original ideas?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Wearing a baseball hat in a job like that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Right. Yeah. You need to keep the sun out of your eyes.
Keep the shade out of your eyes.
In the cave. Yeah. Yeah. Cause I think you're always wearing a bandana. Like every time I've seen you, I think you've had a bandana on.
Yeah, it's my go-to. I have some beanies and stuff. A lot of, the fitness apparel companies and stuff sell more beanies than bandanas. So I end up with a lot of those too. But I'm kind of a bandana guy more than a beanie guy.
What about this? Like, cause there's at least a couple different ways to wear a bandana. When we say you're wearing a bandana, you wear it where it's,
tied in the back,
covered in your head. But, some people might like, more like Cheech and Chong, like roll the bandana and wear it like a headband, kind of like a headband. You wear a bandana as a headband. I do that sometimes when I was riding motorcycle. I'd wear my bandana that way. Do you ever wear yours that way?
I haven't for years now. But I mean, I have in the past. Yeah.
Okay. It's just a different look, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on what you're trying to achieve exactly. Okay. Overrated or underrated? The song Walking on Broken Glass by Annie Lennox. Do you know it?
I'm aware, yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to say overrated. I don't have any explanation, but it's overrated.
It's really hard to analyze that song very deeply. For anyone that doesn't know, it's a song that's like, walking on broken glass. that one, right? Are we all on the same page? That's the song.
Yeah.
And if that didn't explain it, you just go play it and you'll be like, okay, yeah, I don't know why, but I've definitely heard this song before.
Yes. And why that would be a question for you, of course, you do glass, you walk on broken glass.
Mm-hmm.
That song is about you. You're so vain. You probably think that song is about you. This one actually is. Yeah.
I might have to change my answer.
Yeah. So do your feet get cut when you walk on broken glass? Maybe that's a stupid question.
So once, yes. And I presume it'll probably happen again.
So you've only done it. Have you just done it once or you're saying
No.
You've gotten your feet cut once?
Oh yeah, just the cut was one time.
Okay.
I've probably done the glass a dozen times or so.
Okay.
So
Does that need to be a certain type of glass, or like what's the?
It's generally, I mean, you could use anything. It's generally safer to use stuff that's not super thin. Like I use like thicker Coca-Cola bottles and wine bottles and stuff like that. You probably wouldn't want like light bulbs or something.
I was gonna say old light bulbs. Yeah, right. That are just gonna literally slice.
Buy some fluorescent bulbs and break them. So then, is it just? I mean, do you just get the right step and feel it out, or what are you trying to do when you're walking on glass? Besides not cut your feet, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, you try to. It's about feel, because that stuff it's all jagged up there but it moves too, right? Like it's not glued, so you're kind of rolling with it and going with it and just making sure your foot pressure's just right as you go over it. You'll notice in the video I'm like not running across it. I mean, you have to go. I don't run anyway, but you don't. You go pretty
not on glass. Yeah.
Yeah, you go pretty slow. It's the same. I actually did thumbtacks. I didn't have enough. I needed a little bit more. I think I have like 10,000 of them now.
I was gonna say that would take a lot of thumbtacks, I guess, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, I bought like 5,000, and that sounds like a lot more. When you get 5,000 tacks, you're like, this is 5,000.
Yeah.
But I did tacks, and it's pretty similar too. It's just about slow and just feeling where
some of those are poking into you for sure, though, right? When you do that, like, are none of those piercing your skin if you walk on tacks?
I would say that the tacks are definitely worse than the glass for sure. Okay. You're getting stabbed, and the big worry, it hasn't happened, but the big worry for me with the tacks, they're not well made. So that little
breaking
spike,
off.
Yeah, it could break off of the
right
flat piece, and then now you got like a needle stuck in your foot. That's a concern.
The risk to reward ratio there.
Yeah,
something to consider.
Okay, that's good. What about the fire blowing? How do you do? What's in your mouth when you do that?
Well, so that's a work in progress. I've tried a couple of different things. I bought some. It's called paraffin oil. It's like a lamp oil.
Okay.
You have to find certain ones, but it's toxic, so you can't swallow it. And that sounds like, oh well, I'm not an idiot. I won't swallow it, but it's actually harder than you. Yeah. You don't know how many times I've almost swallowed.
Well, doesn't it taste awful too? I mean, I know you're not drinking it, but it's in your mouth.
Yeah, it tastes like if you had a mouthful it tastes like if you had a mouthful of olive oil. So it's not like super gross, but it's not desirable. But yeah, if you swallow it, and it has a what do you call it, like fumes to it, so you have to watch inhaling it too, because it can really mess your lungs up. So I've been thinking about switching to alcohol. And I'm trying to find, they quit selling Everclear in West Virginia years ago. So I got to drive up to Maryland and buy some Everclear. I think I'm going to try it.
Alcohol seems like a better choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my worry with the alcohol, the reason I didn't start with the alcohol is because it's so combustible. There's a higher beard risk.
Yeah, that's true. What about this? Is there any risk? Sometimes fire, will follow the source. Like, so when you're blowing that, like, is there any risk of the fire coming back to your mouth where this other combustible source is sitting and waiting to like blow your face up, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think with the alcohol that will be a risk depending on the proof. With the oil, I don't think that was really an issue. The oil's safer as far as the fire goes. It's just swallowing it and inhaling it is like
less safe that it's in your mouth.
Yeah.
So,
okay. That's interesting. Okay, overrated or underrated? Vikings, the History Channel show.
I'm going to say underrated because I thought the first. I'm sure people have watched this, so there's no spoilers here. But the first string of that show up until Ragnar dies, I think really set the stage for a lot of shows after that. I mean, that was just like a great run, super great series. And then there was kind of like kind of dipped after that. But I thought it ended very strong too. I thought the last season or two was just as good as the first few.
Okay. All right.
In fact, that strongman competition is at the History Channel's Viking Con, the one that I usually do. And they've had some of the actors are there. Like one year when we were lifting, Rollo was there watching us.
Yeah. Was he big? Because in the show, in the show, he looks like maybe one of the bigger ones, right? So he was not big then. Like, what do you think his measure, like height and weight or like?
Now, I wasn't like right up on him.
Right.
But
he was not physically impressive in person, like when you're with a group of strongmen and stuff.
I'd say maybe 5'8", 180, maybe.
Oh. Wow. Okay, I thought he was big. He looks big he looks big in the show, doesn't he?
Oh, he looks massive. Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't have even.
I thought you were gonna say he was like, I don't know, at least like 6'3", 250. Like,
no, not a chance. Not a chance.
False advertising.
5'8", 180. Jeez, he was made to be like the biggest looking one out of the bunch. The rest of them must have been 5'5", 140.
Yeah, when he walked up, there was like a big, like, everybody was like, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't know who that is. Like, what are they making it big? Because he wasn't big enough. It was like we weren't looking at the same thing. So
right, yeah. And how tall are you? You're what are you, like 6'5" or 6'6" or something? Or
I'm 6'5", 370 right now.
Yeah, right. So he was like a half of you or so, like Rollo was not, he wasn't going to Viking axe you anytime soon.
No. But like I said, I wasn't right up on him, so I might be a little off there, but that's what he seemed like. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. That's fair. Like that. Yeah, that's fair. Okay. This next one has layers, from West Virginia, arguably one of the best Vikings ever, overrated or underrated, Randy Moss.
I'm going to say underrated.
Okay. Do you know where Randy Moss is from? Anywhere from where you're at, or maybe you
what
don't
city?
know? Yeah.
Oh man, I actually don't know what city.
Okay.
Did we look, Tanner? Did it say Rand? Is that where he's from?
Rand? That's a small place.
Or you're thinking Randy.
Oh yeah, I forgot to finish it. No, yeah, this does say Rand, West Virginia. I mean, that's what Google says here.
Yeah, that's a tiny. I don't even know that I've been there.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely one of the best Vikings ever, though. Different kind of Viking here, though. Okay. Last one. We always save, maybe one of the best, most controversial for last. It's worth all the marbles. So how you do on this, it means everything. I can't understate how important this is. So overrated or underrated, the Harbor Freight magnetic drink holder.
Oh well, definitely overrated. I mean, I wouldn't even be seen with one if it wasn't to crumble it up.
You crushed that. I mean, no exaggeration. Like Pepsi can.
You really did make it look like a piece of paper. There was just nothing to it.
I need to do more videos like that. That one got a lot of traction.
Yeah. And then you tried to bend the original drink spotter with no success. I don't know if that was an act and you could have actually bent it, or you were just throwing us a bone on the drink spotter.
I don't think any mere mortal can bend that thing.
I think you're right. That's some serious stainless steel right there, not to be bent. It's you might be able to bend a horseshoe, but not a drink spotter.
Not a drink spotter. It's
well,
pretty much impossible.
Maybe there's levels to it though. You start with the Harbor Freight, you kind of work up to some other ones. Maybe
Right.
maybe the end goal is the real drink spotter.
That's going to be in the second edition of your book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The drink spotter progression.
Yeah.
The bonus chapter.
Yeah. Good news though. It looks like we're just adding up the scores now. It's fairly early to tell, but yeah, it looks like you passed overrated, underrated. So congratulations. Yes. You can.
I was worried.
Yeah. Add that to your many successes of competition is now passing overrated, underrated.
I'll put it in my Instagram bio.
Yes. Good. Awesome. Well, this is really good. We appreciate having you on. We talked about the book. I would tell everyone to check that out. And then you do offer coaching also. So what if somebody is interested in that and, maybe they're interested in some of the odd lifts we talked about too? Where would somebody get a hold of you and what should they do?
So two biggest ones are Facebook, just John Mauser, Mouser. And then Instagram is Mauser Strength. And or if you just put John the Viking Mauser into Google, you should find something.
Awesome. Will we see you in Columbus in 2024, do you think?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I don't miss that. So I'll be up there. I'll come by and harass you guys.
Good.
Well, I don't know what you're going to harass us about this year, though.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
Yeah, you've been on the podcast, so it's kind of like, well, I guess I don't need to talk to those guys this year. We'll go to the next booth.
If I tell you what we'll do, I'll get a Harbor
deck
Freight.
of cards.
Yeah, I'll bring some cards. I'll grab a Harbor Freight drink thing.
Yes.
We'll do another video. I'll crush it at your booth.
Yeah.
Yes. If you remember, do that. That's what we need. Yes.
All right. Yeah,
for
sure.
Yeah, that would be good. Awesome. Okay. Oh, well, this is great. Thanks, John. We appreciate you coming on. This was fun.
Thanks a lot, John.
No, thank you guys. Yeah.
All right. We'll see you in March.
All righty. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
We'll see you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Cool beans! Cool beans. Cool beans!
Did you give him
He got the cool beans.
the double Mauser beans?
Yeah, those were dog flavored cool beans.
Yuck.
Icky.
Yuck. Yeah. He's had a lot of unpleasant things in his mouth, and that's not even a gross sexual innuendo.
Oh yeah, he's he's also done a lot of crazy things too.
Oh man.
Between sumo wrestling, arm wrestling, regular wrestling,
Walking
all
on
the
Broken
strength
Glass
sports
by Annie Lennox. Annie Lennox.
living the Annie Lennox life.
Have you ever heard of that name, Annie? We know that song, but does she have other songs that people know?
It's I think I know that. I don't want to misspeak, so I'm gonna look her up quick, but I think it's Sweet Dreams.
I did not know that.
Sweet Dreams are made of this. On Spotify, this is insane.
I Put a Spell on You.
Oh yeah, that is on here too. I don't know if I know that one, but I'm sure if I heard it, I would. Is it just the I Put a Spell on You song?
I think so.
It's just her cover of it.
I don't know who sings that normally.
I don't know. Didn't CCR have a version of that too back in the day?
That could be. Oh yeah, you're right. Right.
So I think it's an old time, but
you're right.
So her number 2 song for plays on Spotify, "Walking on Broken Glass," 161 million. You know how many plays "Sweet Dreams Are Made of This" has?
1 billion.
1.1 billion.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a lot of plays.
That's Annie Lennox, and now getting all this cover time on the Massenomics podcast.
Yeah.
If that wasn't enough.
Oh, and then you go to the Marilyn Manson cover of "Sweet Dreams."
And
then you're a new metal baby.
Yeah.
It's a natural progression.
That is that Marilyn Manson cover. That is a good song, though.
It's this is a whole different era in music, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't hardly exist anymore.
No. Do you like that song?
The Marilyn Manson version?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Marilyn Manson person. I don't know much.
You
of
like
his music.
Trent Reznor?
Oh yeah, I think Nine Inch Nails is awesome.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a deep discography there that I don't know a lot of. But
no, I don't know it very well. I know the ones everyone that everyone would know.
Yeah,
Not,
I mean he does.
I'm not deep into, but I think he's
for that
Trent
genre
Reznor,
of music.
I think is interesting.
Yeah, for that genre of music, he has a surprising number of songs that still hold up really good. And then also to look at where he, what was it? Pretty Hate Machine and like. I don't know, it was like 89 or 91.
Right.
And then he goes on and then it's like, oh yeah, this is Oscar award winning musician Trent Reznor. He's won Oscars for his work in soundtracks.
It's really weird when I hear that really early, because what was his like band or like, what was that?
I think Pretty Hate Machine was,
okay.
Let me see. I think it was either late 90s or late 80s or early 90s.
Okay.
89. Yeah.
All right. And like, it's just funny seeing some of his really original musical stuff where I'm like, yeah, I can tell that's Trent Reznor's voice, but it just sounds so weird. Like what he's doing, because
it kind of honestly has it kind of almost has some of the Prince vibes where he's using the drum machine really heavily where okay, this was sort of done in pop music at the time, but also you're doing this sort of metal thing, but it's experimental and industrial too. There was a lot going on. And then if you ever look up he has the concert, I don't even know where it was at. Was it like an old Woodstock or something where he just goes and just rolls around in like all the mud and shit before he goes on stage and they come out. Ryan always has the shirt on and he comes out and he's just like, looks like he's like this creature that came out of hell or something. And then he just performs the whole concert like that. I'd imagine at that time when you watched it, you were thinking, damn, this is the craziest thing. Even now when you watch it and there's all this smoke. I mean, it's it's early 90s. So the video quality is so shitty. There's just all this smoke and their synthesizers are doing all these crazy noises. And then just magically out of the smoke, he's on the stage and he looks like this demon creature. It's like, how did that happen? And where did you come from?
That is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kind of along this line, something I had written down here of something I watched. I've been trying to get through this movie for a long. This is on my watch list for a long time, and I'm really curious. This is a really brief segment of Has Tommy Seen It?
Okay.
Now this is old. This is old, but very classic old. So the movie is 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Of course I've seen it.
And I thought I had seen 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I've seen this. And if I did it's been a long time ago and I paid so little attention that I had like basically no recollection of what it was. So actually I'm just saying, I don't think I had seen that before.
Okay.
I thought I had, but I hadn't. And it started like 3 weekends ago. It was like after mowing the lawn and the kids were taking a nap and stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is on, and I really
it was. I was just curious how out of all the movies you arrived at that one, but it was on.
It's been on my list where I'm just like hearing people. It's just come up in talk and stuff enough. Like it's kind of like my book list where I'm like, I want to.
Well, and it kind of has the thing. It kind of has the thing going on for today of AI and
it does
space travel. And all that.
So it's in the same list of things that I'm like, no, I need to see that because of its relevance.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, because of the lack of the dialogue. It took me the third time to not fall asleep.
Is it 45 minutes in before there's any dialogue in that movie? Is that how long it is?
There's almost no dialogue in the entire movie.
Yeah.
But
the entire first monkey sequence has no talking.
No. And there's fucking like 10 minutes of, there's 5 minutes in music before there's even a picture on the screen, where I'm like, and I've said it before, my secret of how do you get tired when you need to be tired? Well, my secret is I'm always tired.
Yeah.
So you put me down like after working outside in the heat and like the kids are taking a nap and be like, here's classical music pictured to no picture for like 10 minutes.
I would struggle with that
I dare you to stay awake.
Oh, I don't think I could. I would struggle hard with that.
So it did take me 3 sessions to get through that movie, and I definitely have not seen 2001: A Space Odyssey.
The Star Child sequence is something else, ain't it?
I do not understand most of the ending of that, nor do I feel like things are always subject to someone's interpretation, and that's part of the art of something. But I'm like, I don't understand how someone creates that with any expectation that the viewer is going to understand it in a certain way, because like, I'm like, there is so much like left to the viewer's interpretation of what is even happening there that, you're saying like the actual like, acid trip part
At
where
the
it's
end,
like you're just
yes.
seeing
and it gets
lights.
done and you think, what the hell did I just watch?
Well, really the part to me, and spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but the very ending of it where he's in this room that wherever he arrived, Jupiter or whatever the fuck, where he got somewhere.
Yes, a destination.
He's in this room, and then he just like rapidly, this movie goes through such these long, like a 15-minute light sequence, and then he's in this room for like 2 minutes and it's over, and I'm just like, he goes through this rapid aging and sees himself, and he like, I don't know, dies. He rapidly ages. There's no concept of time, I assume. And then he's a fetus, and then he's a giant fetus at like Earth. And I don't know. I think, all right. So probably the only reason I even saw this movie is because I was trying to get into watching Stanley Kubrick movies when I was in high school. And this is, a Stanley Kubrick movie. A lot of people say like
the best director of all time.
Yeah.
So trying to watch through those movies, but that was a lot harder then at that time. If you wanted to watch those movies, you had to buy them because you couldn't really get them anywhere. So I actually did have a copy of 2001. I'm curious because that movie is based on a book, how much additional context the book provides.
Maybe if you read the book, I bet there's more.
I am curious. I would think that there's probably more. And I for sure have not seen that movie since I was in high school. So we're talking close to 20 years. But I thought the whole thing the symbolism was trying to be, wasn't it trying to represent like this guy being reborn? And was it having to do something with like man and machine and time all combining? And
that's like, I would say just from me watching it recently, yes to all of that. But specifically,
what is actually supposed to be happening?
Yeah, I mean, yes, all of that you say, I would say, yes, and yes. But like, I'm also like, maybe my brain might not work in a way that I'm even like can interpret that as well as the way that other people's brains work. I can understand math pretty well, but like for me to understand what's happening in those scenes, I'm like, I can't exactly follow like what the direction is supposed to be here.
You do got me really wanting to see this again now, but
I would watch it. You will fall asleep.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm afraid of is
you absolutely like if anyone like is,
and it's a long movie too, isn't it? Isn't it just about 3 hours or not?
I don't know. It seemed long.
Yeah.
Some of the scenes are so long and then there's also, I guess, part of what I'm leaving out, the black, thing,
the
like
monolith
the
or whatever it is.
Yeah, the monolith or whatever you call it. What is a monolith? I don't know what the definition of that is.
Just kind of like a solid block of nothingness.
Right. Whatever that is, and that's present in the stuff. But the part that I wanted to bring up though is Hal's the computer.
Yep.
And I'll be damned if there isn't some
foreshadowing to 2023.
That I'm like, oh wow, actually, I'm
I can't let you do that. What's the guy's name?
Hal's the computer, but I don't remember
whoever he talks to.
Dave.
Is that what it is, Dave?
Yeah. Dave. I don't know. Yeah, Dave. But like, if there wasn't something there that I'm like, wow, that thing actually looks like some of the cameras that. That.
Oh yeah. Well,
like, I'm like that. Like some things are probably modeled off of that.
Yes, I think
like
it was
how eerily similar.
Yeah, it was such an iconic movie that there was so much. I think it set the stage for
design.
It did set the stage for a certain direction in design, and all types of things like that.
But like the idea of what the artificial intelligence part of it, I'm like, oof, wow, that's a little creepy, even like back at, that in this movie, how well they hit that I'm like, that seems, some of that's maybe in 1960, whatever, that seemed crazy. But now I'm like, that's not crazy.
Yeah, no, that's here. Like actually, we're kind of, for the most part, past that in most things as far as this goes.
Yes. Yeah. So that, I did think that was kind of interesting too. That was my takeaway. I don't know, for everyone that's seen this for years and years ago, this is boring talk probably. I'm just just now catching up on a really important cinematic piece of history.
I mean, one of the most iconic soundtracks as far as that goes too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I had a friend that actually went to, I don't know where it was at. I mean, it was in he lives in Milwaukee. So I don't know if it was in Milwaukee or Chicago or if he actually went to New York, but they play it on a screen and there's a full orchestra that does the soundtrack in real time.
That's cool.
And that would be pretty cool to go to that.
Oh, I mean, if you were into like whatever kind of are the in vogue drugs right now, I have to imagine when this came out, that was definitely an experience of taking drugs
vaping?
and watching this. Yeah, vaping. I don't know, like acid. Yeah. I suppose if you were into acid and you watched this movie in the 60s,
I think
like,
one of the
whoa.
posters. I think one of the posters actually uses the phrase. They say the ultimate trip. I believe was what they were.
Like this was definitely like, you know, I can see that was what was going on here.
Yeah, I think that was one of the marketing slogans for it, was like embark on the ultimate trip or something like that, playing into the whole
I definitely didn't understand what the movie was. I'm really glad I watched it, because my picture of the movie is not what this movie was at all.
Okay.
Almost.
Yeah. All right, yeah, here I found it right here. Yep, it's a picture of a very acid psychedelic looking picture of the eye with the fetus inside the eye, and it says the ultimate trip.
Okay,
so now you watch this, Tanner. You know what you need to watch next? Maybe I'm curious if you've seen this. Have you? We're flipping the script right now.
Oh,
Has Tanner seen it? Has Tanner seen it? A Clockwork Orange.
I have never seen it. No.
That'd be the next one. That's another Stanley Kubrick, and from somewhat of the same time period. Also pretty iconic.
Yeah, I'm just looking up like just pictures of like the. Yeah, I recognize this guy
for A Clockwork Orange.
Right. But I don't know what the movie is about.
Oh, you got it. It falls into the same thing. It's so this one came out in 1971. So this came out, I don't know, 10 years
after. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole thing,
like the picture with him, his eyes being like held open. That's definitely like meme.
Yep. It is used in that, and it has to do with like mind control and bad people and getting bad thoughts and bad things out of people's minds. I mean, it totally fits in the same theme. I want to say this movie, when it first came out, was like rated X or something like that, because it was too obscene.
I don't know if all that being said, I don't know if I would say that I liked 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I totally if someone said that, I would not judge them one bit for that statement.
I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah, I think it's something everyone.
Important.
It is culturally relevant, and I think everyone should watch it. But if most people walked away from it being like, "Not for me," I think that's a totally normal reaction.
Watching that movie didn't make me feel good about anything, and I like, I could go a few years later. You can watch Star Wars. It comes out like maybe a decade after that. Mm-hmm. I like Star Wars. Star Wars, I watched that.
That's got the feel-good Hollywood tropes to it. You know, it's
right.
It's a little easier to wrap your head around. There's good guys and bad guys, and
yes. And I just sometimes I don't like watching stuff that when I get done, I'm like, that doesn't make me feel good.
I'm like questioning my own existence, and I don't even know I don't even know what's
that's
right
not
anymore.
Why I watch. That's not really why I watch film usually. So
some escapism here.
Right.
Well, then maybe you shouldn't watch 2001: A Space, or then maybe you shouldn't watch A Clockwork Orange either. You might be in trouble.
No, I probably will, because there it's that same boat where I'm like, no, I actually do. I like having watched it. So now, when a real 2001: Space Odyssey reference comes up, still can't say I understand the movie completely, but I can probably understand the reference. I understand the idea of the movie. I just don't exactly understand
really
the movie,
the deep
if that
meaning.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember there was a South Park episode too where Cartman was Hal, I believe.
See,
He's
there's
like, I can't let you do that, Kyle.
Right. In hindsight, there's references, even like there's Family Guy stuff that I thought of at the time that I'm like, oh, that's that. Like this is that reference. Like now I get it. And where I just don't like missing those references.
Yeah,
really.
It is one of those things where once you do, it's like you've connected a lot of random dots in your brain when you can understand what the source material for something is all of a sudden.
Yeah. So that was it on that. I was going to mention I am headed down south to see some of our neighbors here to the south soon. Actually,
who's that?
I'm headed. I'm hopping the border to the south.
What?
Yeah, I'm actually going to Canada this weekend.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah, Friday I'm headed to Canada.
For what?
We're just taking the family. We're getting out of this country. It's just with everything going on, we just don't know what the future is. So we're
I love America so much, I'm leaving it.
Yeah, we're dodging to the border, headed to Winnipeg.
Are ya? Yeah. Just a little getaway?
Yeah, we got like it's almost like a treehouse cabin.
Oh,
thing
cool.
Out of Winnipeg, so it should be cool.
So what is that? Is that a 6-hour drive from Aberdeen?
Yeah, we're actually going. We're taking the whole family, and we're leaving like Friday afternoon, and we're staying in Grand Forks, North Dakota. They have a water park hotel there, so we're going to stay at that hotel, and then we're waking up Saturday morning and going the rest. It's like a 6 hour, 6.5 total.
Yeah, but
so we'll just be there
2-3 hour drives is not too bad.
No, we're kind of doing that on purpose, and we're not in a hurry. We're not on a time schedule. We have no activities planned other than just like we're kind of in the woods or whatever. So we'll be hanging out in the cabin in the woods.
Well, that'll be cool. That'll be cool.
Yeah,
I'll be very interested to hear your recap on that.
Yeah, so stay tuned next. I've never been to Canada before.
Oh, you haven't?
So, and I think where we're at, I think there's a lot of French people right where we're at. Actually, I mean, I know they're not French. I know they're Canadian, but you know what I mean. But
French Canadian.
Yeah.
Well, if you need to familiarize yourself with the culture, you have a lot of people you can rely on. So if you find yourself in a pinch,
that's what I'm hoping to get some Canadian advice, while I'm there. Because actually, by the time this comes out, I'll already be back, so that's not relevant. I'll be on the way back.
Yeah.
So a day late and $1 short, or what's a day late and a Canadian dollar short?
A loony.
Okay, yeah.
I think they have loonies and toonies.
How much are our dollar? Like, will I be able to buy like the whole country when I'm there? With just whatever's in my wallet?
That's a good question. Let's see the USD Canadian conversion.
How does that work though? Because I'll just use my credit cards, right? And it just does it.
This says $1 equals 1.35 Canadian dollars.
We're rich.
Yeah.
We're going to be living high on the hog while we're there.
So, but also I feel like they just don't charge equally either. Like their prices just don't make sense. Because don't they also have tax? Isn't tax like built into their pricing too? If something says $10 in America, we know that there's obviously tax not included. I think a lot of other countries, if it says $10, I believe tax is included. Maybe, I don't know. I actually have no idea
for that universal health care somehow, right?
That's right.
I don't actually know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea how any of their stuff works, which is hilarious that they can be so close and just have no clue how any of it goes. Well, I start talking, feeling like I'm confident, and then once I start saying, I'm like, you know what? Actually, scratch that. I don't know a thing about what I'm saying.
No. What I think's funny, we've said this before, but how close we are to Canada and how infrequently actually people do go to Canada.
Yeah, it's not a thing. I don't
know.
But also, okay, even on that topic though, you're going to Grand Forks. How often do you hear someone say I'm going to Grand Forks?
I've been there once in my life.
The only time I've been there in my life,
and we're like 3 hours away from it.
Yeah, the only time I've been to Grand Forks my entire life was when we went to Canada.
Right.
We went to Winnipeg once when I was a kid.
Yeah,
and we stopped at Grand Forks. That's the only time I've been that direction. Because why else do you go that way?
You wouldn't. You wouldn't, unless you just want to hop south across the border.
That's right.
So stay tuned next week, I guess, for more
for Tanner's international travels.
If I obtain a dual citizenship,
to see if they even let you go across the border.
Oh, got the passports ready, so we better.
You better.
We got a whole slew of we got a whole booklet of passport booklets to get us through there.
Mm-hmm.
To be continued.
Yes, I have one line of follow up from our interview with Big John.
Oh yeah, I remember that interview.
You can remember it. Put your thinking cap on. I need you to go back in time here. We had mentioned Randy Moss. I had to look it up. I like that you can just Google this Randy Moss stat line. Do you know what I'm talking about here?
Well, no.
This was on Thanksgiving. Randy Moss had the craziest stat line ever.
Oh, yeah, I know. He had like 3 catches and 3 touchdown passes and 300 yards or something like that.
3 catches, 163 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. That's what it was. I do remember that.
Yeah. I can't tell at what point in the game this is. The screenshot's cut off. I'm assuming it's the fourth quarter. Yeah, Minnesota 39, Dallas 22.
Yeah, and it's him like on the sidelines, and it's got the stat line on it. Yeah. And it's like 3 catches, 3 touchdowns. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. Do you remember that one play that Randy had where I think he caught it close to the goal line and he was getting tackled and he just threw the ball like back over his head?
Oh, yes.
And it went to some and who caught it and like scored a touchdown. Do you remember that though?
Yeah, I have like 12 friends that could answer this question in 1 second for you.
Yeah.
I'm not the diehard Vikings historian like a lot of them are.
Right.
But yeah, I totally know what you're talking about. Yeah, where he just like loops it right back.
Just like, I'm like, how do you have
it just looked like they drew it up that way? And
yeah, but I'm like, you literally were looking the other direction.
Yeah.
You know, was that just pure luck and that happened to work out? And that's
the thing, it just adds to the legend of it all.
It does. It does. Randy Moss was a whole different level.
Yeah.
Who do you think's a better receiver? Randy Moss or Jerry Rice?
I'm not enough of a football historian to really give a good answer here.
You're not confident with your opinion.
No, to me, as a kid, I just around here, I was a Vikings. Vikings are the thing around here. I was a Vikings fan, so I always thought Randy Moss was the coolest. But people probably have much stronger arguments than that.
I mean, I agree. I'm also tainted because of I was not a Vikings fan growing up, but we were right in the era of Randy Moss being and also like he was called the freak for a reason. He was
physically
freak.
Yes.
Like, so, I no doubt he was maybe more of an athletic freak, but I guess you'd argue that Jerry Rice was probably a better route runner and some stuff like that. I don't know, but that all seems boring. Whereas Randy Moss was like,
you need a little showiness to it too.
Right. I'm going to say Randy Moss just to piss off the Jerry Rice people.
Yeah, I'll go with that too. I like that.
Mouse this, mouse that, mouse this, mouse that. There's some also good, like...
He has a lot of good...
Yeah.
I mean, just good. The whole straight cash thing is still...
Oh, that's
people
iconic.
Still around this part of the country. I don't know if other people like that, but around this part of the country, people still love
Everyone
that.
says straight cash.
Oh, you could, if you're ever around a bunch of Vikings fans and you know it, and you can slip that in at some point, they're going to be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Okay, we've got this little segment of the podcast we do each week where we give back to our supporting members. We have the supporting members that support our show, and we'd love to have you support our show. If you've been a listener for short time, long time, whatever it is, and you'd like to give back, you'd like to support, like to help make sure we keep this show running for 400 more episodes, we'd love to have you become a supporting member. There's some options in there that are they're all affordable, to be perfectly honest. If you sit down, I challenge you, sit down, grab a piece of paper,
don't rip it. We're not talking about ripping them yet.
No, don't rip it. Grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, sit down, put them together, pencil it out. You will find you literally cannot afford to go out without a supporting membership any longer. Like, today is the day when you're listening, you say, I've been thinking about doing this. I'm going to put pen to paper. Yep. Checks out. I have to do it.
Yeah.
After you do that, you'll be like, I must do this.
And then when you sign up, if you want to give us extra labs, sign up and in the order notes, write straight cash, homie. And people will be like, me and Tanner will see that. We'll go, oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I remember when we talked about that just a little bit ago.
That's good. That's awesome.
Then when we call each other like a day later to catch up on Massenomics stuff, we'll be like, oh, did you see someone wrote straight cash, homie in the comments? I'd be like, yeah, that was funny.
Actually, you don't have to, you could do that with any order. I mean, you don't have to limit it to just supporting memberships. You could do that with T-shirts, drink spotters, anything.
And just put straight cash, homie. Yeah. And then I'll screenshot it and send it to Tommy, and he'd be like, "Ha, yeah, I saw that." And every week we like to give back to these supporting members. Part of the way we do that is this segment supporting our supporting members. So this week had a few things going on. Big Brad competed in Highland Games. He did say it was not the Highland Games he wanted, but it was still the Highland Games he got. And he got third in his class. So he's still a record holder in my book. I think definitely a record holder. Big Chris Mark, the man with two first names, competed in his first powerlifting meet. No. Actually, I have that wrong. He went to his first powerlifting meet ever, and he spotted and loaded all day. So well done on the spotting and loading.
Yep.
Big Chris Mark.
You got a meme made for people like him, Tanner.
That's true. Just made that recently, a popular meme. Big Ben Bile, South Dakota man.
Mm-hmm.
Big Ben. He got 4th overall in his second strongman comp, and that included a axle overhead press PR of 220 pounds. Well done, Big Ben. Also competed at the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic. You may recognize Big Ben from such places as the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic.
As seen on
the
Lift Hard, Live Easy
And then we also got Big Kevin. Big Kevin helped grow the crew by one member this week by adding another member. He hit a family PR.
Would you say that the crew has been growing exponentially, Tanner?
No, I mean, yeah, that's what people would say to describe how many babies people have been having in the crew. But no, it has not actually been growing exponentially.
So just say growing. That's a safer.
It's been growing like fractionally. Is probably a better. It's marginally been growing.
Yeah,
not exponentially.
Okay.
And then last, of course not least, Big Dave, who you may recognize from such things as being the meet director of the 2023 Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic. And if he plays his cards right, the meet director of the 2024 Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic. He was the guest this week on Unpaid and Underrated, the podcast. Our sister podcast. Our small, little bratty sister podcast. Unpaid and Underrated. Check out Big Dave. You want to hear maybe some insight as to what 2024 Lift Hard, Live Easy could bring. Check it out.
I heard it's going to be like the final sequence of 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's going to be crazy and lights, and people are going to leave and be like, "What did I just watch?
What happened? I don't get it." I have to read things to even try and figure out what was going on now.
I just had two things pop into my mind that I should have brought up a long time ago, Tanner. The first one is that this past Saturday, when I left the house, I went to the gym, ran into crew member Colton again, and he had a Massenomics.
He's everywhere.
Yeah, I know he is. I ran into that guy a lot for the size of this town. Had Massenomics clothes on, so I was happy to see that.
What was it? Do you remember?
It was the lift shirt. You reposted it. Or it was the lift shirt. That was Colton. I don't know if you could tell.
Okay.
It was far away, the video I had.
Yeah, it was far away. I could not tell. Yeah. I wondered if that was at your new gym.
Yeah, that was Colton. He had the lift shirt and the headband on. And then actually later that day, it was funny. We had a gift card to the, I should have actually even brought this up, had a gift card to the Carnival Brazilian Grill here in town.
Oh yeah.
And so we went there.
Isn't that good or?
Some things are better than others. You know, it's like anything on a buffet. But the thing is once you realize the items you like, you're kind of full. So then you gotta.
Right. Isn't it normally kind of expensive?
Oh, it's like $40 a person.
Right.
But that is, all you can eat meat essentially.
And it is good. Like you might not like certain things.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. Like the biggest knock I had would be some of the lesser steaks. They can give you a cut that feels more done than I would prefer.
Can you just not eat it then and be like, nah, give me
you can. And that's what I ate some of it. I'm like, why am I wasting my time eating this piece that's bad?
My stomach on this.
When they have, and then you think about it and you feel like you're not keeping up because at a certain point they just keep running it out to you and it's so much. You just keep saying, yep, more. And then you feel like you're not keeping up. And then you do the math and you're like, well, okay, 10 guys have come around. If each one of them cut off only 2 to 3 ounces, I've ate 20 to 30 ounces of steak, at least right there, And I feel like that's being pretty conservative, saying like 2 to 3 ounces. So then you start doing the math and think, okay, I actually have ate a lot of meat while I've been sitting here.
Right.
Overall, especially when you have a gift card that essentially pays for all of it, makes it.
That's like freaking.
Yeah, it was.
I love that. That's the best.
Yeah,
going on a gift card.
Totally guilt-free trip because my wife also, that's not like her thing either to eat unlimited meat. She's like, God, no, I'd prefer almost anything else. But you don't got to worry about it. It's paid for. It's like, who cares?
Right.
So we did that. And then because we hadn't done enough damage, we walked across the street. There's Cold Stone ice cream. And we had our kids with us too. So we're like, oh, we'll go get ice cream now. And while we're in there, we're I can't remember if we're ordering or we're going to go sit down and eat our ice cream. My wife goes, look, they have Massenomics clothes on. And there was a lady sitting there with 2 kids, and she had a Massenomics shirt on. And I go, oh, nice shirt.
What shirt?
It was the Never Gonna Stop tee.
Really?
Yeah. And I go, oh, nice shirt. And she goes, yeah, you sponsored his lift-a-thon. And we have so many little
the USD.
Well, that's what I said.
Oh no, that's from Mitchell.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I said, there's so many of those little things I can't keep them straight. Like, where was that one at? And they said Mitchell. And I go, okay. Because then I said, we also have ones at USD, SDSU. It was the mom, and she was with her son. And she goes,
lifts.
She lifts. And she goes, he's the one that lifts. But so they
she
explained
power
that.
lifts, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, but she said it was from him competing or something. And,
right. Yeah. No. Yeah, we sent that to Big Andrew Preeb was running that.
Yep. And so she gave me the rundown on the lifting and all that, and
nice.
Got to meet some people there. And I just said that is funny to me that a town of this size, I can go 2 places in one day where there's people wearing Massenomics clothes. Yeah.
There is a reason they call it Crew Falls.
There is. It's a very strong presence down here.
I saw Big Paul. They were talking maybe they should get together a Sioux Falls group to do the garage gym competition.
Yes, I saw you write that in the Discord. The problem, I do really want to try and do that. The problem is that's like the weekend that I'm moving into my house, and so that's where I'm going to run into issues. But if there's a way I can make it work.
Maybe they can. But one of the other Sioux Falls crew said that weekend might be tricky for them. Maybe it could just be a different weekend.
Maybe
it just because that could be a fun video if you had the crew.
That'd be a blast if we can figure out something to work there. I'd have a ton of fun with that. So we'll have to see if we can get something figured out.
Because we have been talking too. I don't know if we put it out there about having actually a Crew Falls meetup
too. And we'd like to announce it a little bit in advance. So if it's people from Brookings or Watertown, Minnesota, Iowa
people might even want to make the trip.
Even honestly, I don't know. Just throwing it out there. Plane tickets to Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls is relatively easy to get to compared to Aberdeen, and plane tickets can be had.
There
somewhat
might be
cheap.
Certain places, depending on where you live, that you might be able to get a really cheap flight there and back.
Yeah, I mean they have
like for a couple $100 almost.
Yeah, they have multiple airlines here, so you can get in at multiple times a day, different airlines. It's fairly accommodating to travel to. So even if someone from out of the area wanted to fly in, that's a possibility too. So that's why we'd like to figure out a time where we can do a Crew Falls meetup. We can. I don't know if we make a whole weekend out of it or if it's like, hey, let's lift on a Saturday and then we'll go get our Costco chicken bakes and our pizza and we can go hit up all these places and then go out. It would be a really good time.
Fun.
Oh, yeah. Fun. Plus, it'd be a great video, too.
It would be. We haven't even talked about the Costco chicken bake this episode.
No, we haven't. So
we've really been taking on a life.
Well, not only did we find out that the Costco chicken bake is loaded, we've also learned that their cheese pizza is incredibly loaded too.
Like 44 grams of protein and
just crazy.
The internet's also been eating up. Not only have we been eating up the Costco chicken bake, the internet has been too.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of some disturbing, conflicting stuff I've found though. Like I don't know if you saw that Goob style expose.
Yeah,
it seems like Costco chicken bake may be editing.
I might go to Costco this weekend and go right to the source, do some in-person investigating here.
Yeah,
figure out what's going on.
I couldn't help but notice Goob did not share that. A little disappointing there, but
you're taking his format from him. He doesn't want
that's
that.
what I think. He's like, oh damn it, this is too good at that. Like they're gonna work me out of a job.
It'd be really. I think at some point we will make an actual video for YouTube regarding Costco and their food court. It'd be really funny if we could get an actual interview, a short interview with someone that works in the food court,
just whoever's working there right at the time.
To talk about it.
Yeah,
they probably know nothing about the macros of the food. Yeah. Just what can you tell us?
Someone did DM today though that said they work at Costco.
I know. I saw that. Yeah. So stay tuned. There could be a fun video coming there.
I like because one of the videos was kind of going it's got like a couple 100,000 views on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's getting a lot of comments, it's got like 10, 20,000 likes on it. And then the comments start to come in from all, whenever something gets that enough attention.
Of all the nutrition experts out there.
Oh God. And I'm like, all the people that are like, good macros, like for that many calories you're getting that. And they're like, you can get a pint of Fairlife chocolate milk has same amount of protein and it's only 200 calories. I'm like,
because milk.
Yeah,
is
this
the
isn't
answer
a protein shake. Like,
yeah, and milk is the answer to all nutrition problems. Just drink more milk always.
And I'm like, we're talking about a big hearty meal. Like, compare apples to apples
that's,
here.
I'm so hungry. I'm just gonna go drink a bunch of milk.
Yeah.
At a certain point,
like,
people want food, don't they?
Yeah, and we're talking about the macros being good for like grocery store, food court,
For $3,
non-health food for $3. You know, it's like
essentially fast food we're talking about here.
Right. Like what? Keep it in line with what we're comparing. Like, yeah, a protein shake has just as much protein and a lot less calories, and those macros are maybe better, but like we weren't talking about like it's just not what.
Yeah, we're talking about something that's actual food.
Yeah,
I want to eat something, and I want it to be hot and prepared for me. And I want all of my food to come from drinking out of a cup or blended. Wouldn't you prefer to eat than drink your food, Tanner?
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's
maybe you're just
the
old
point,
fashioned though.
Yeah, but it's just the point to me. I'm like, yeah, protein powder. Of course, it's got better like less calories, more protein. But I'm like, that's not what we're talking about.
And I like how everyone also assumes that whenever you're talking about something, that the goal is just the leanest,
minimize calories,
the smallest source of calories you could possibly have.
I'm like, a lot of the people we're talking about and that are watching this are probably trying to eat a lot of calories. You know, like,
and also
talking about people that
how many calories does the chicken bake is like 800.
Right.
That's not.
So if you ate that for every meal, that'd be a 2,400 calorie day.
It's like, congratulations, you're barely over the
bare minimum to like not shrivel.
Yeah. Do you weigh 200 pounds? You're now losing weight eating 3 meals a day.
Right. Some people's kids. Am I right?
Yeah. I was looking at the Discord here, Tanner. There is one final thing.
Okay, I closed out of it.
There was another Apple keynote yesterday announcing the new phones.
Oh,
and typically,
so what's the new phone's going to be? Like what number?
They're up to 15 now.
Okay, so the new 15 doesn't exist yet, but it will soon then, or it exists, but it's not for sale.
We have 13, 14 came out last year. They did the unthinkable and came out with 15 this year.
Those crazy bastards.
What are they going to do next? 16.
What at a certain point will they just keep going? We'll be like, it's the 27, or will they be like, yeah, we need a different system?
I've actually heard people talk about that, and I have heard people say, no one knows. Obviously, they're just totally guessing. But at a certain point, the numbers seem kind of weird, and I've also heard people say like, well, but maybe they just changed to a system where just the year the phone comes out turns into the number, just for the sake of making it easier.
They're cars now.
But like Samsung's up to like the Galaxy S24 or 23 or something.
That doesn't mean anything to me at this point. Like, it just sounds like
just made up words.
Right. Right.
So there is a new phone out. I can't tell you at this second. I've been kind of busy, so I haven't had a chance to really dig in.
You don't know
yet.
what all the pros and cons are?
Well, no, I know that.
Camera's better? Yeah,
camera's better because every year it has to be better, which is good. Which is good. Yeah. Good cameras are always good.
The screen's better, clearer.
Yeah, actually, I think the screen might be the exact same screen as last year, which I think last year was maybe a slight bump over the one we had before. So not much has changed in the screen tech either. The big one is, well, not even the big one. One thing to note that is now a titanium. Our phones are stainless steel. You could say this is one of the dumbest features because it goes in a case immediately, so you never really know. But I don't know if you ever remember the very first day you got your phone, there's a stainless steel band that wraps around it. That's now switched to titanium. So it's kind of special and cool. Makes it slightly lighter, I guess. I don't get too excited about those things because my phone goes in a case and
and doesn't like 95%.
Yeah, I think. I think that's kind of. I still don't think they quite get that. To me, that's just like a tough selling point, is to talk about how it looks.
Oh no, I don't care. I don't care about that.
Yeah, I just think it's a dumb. I mean, yes, you want the phone to look good, but at the same time, it's like, can you imagine if car manufacturers talked about how good the paint was on their car, and the very first thing people did when they bought their car was every person put a wrap over it and covered up the paint? You'd be like, maybe the paint doesn't even matter anymore.
If they, I don't know, we're like, yeah, this one's hot pink. It's 20% cheaper, and it's hot pink. I'd be like, give me that one. Everything else is the same. Like, I'd be like, I am putting a case on
covered.
it. So,
what's it matter? Yeah.
Right. Or I don't know what an ugly color is, but like if they're like, yours has the turd emoji all over it, but it's 40% the price. I'd be like, yeah, I want that one.
Yeah. I actually, probably the biggest thing I would say for you that would change your life is that the plug on the bottom is different now. It's back. It's finally to a USB-C plug. Lightning is going away. That would be
all right.
Honestly, the biggest change for you would be that one right there.
Yeah.
Other than that, it is just more or less quality of life improvements throughout.
What about the battery? Is the battery better?
Battery still should be better. I mean, every year they say the battery gets a little better, so it's supposed to be.
They should make it dramatically better.
I
want a battery that lasts a week.
Wouldn't that be great? Like the old days with cell phones. It's like, I don't know. When was the last time this was plugged in? I don't know.
I want the battery tech. I want them to really dump some billions into battery tech and go mine all whatever hasn't been mined yet.
Whatever rare material.
Destroy what's left of this
ecosystem. Yeah. I need this damn battery to last me longer.
Destroy whatever little bit is left. Whatever last little bit. Just take more battery tech.
Yeah. Ruin someone's home. I need my battery. Damn it. Yeah. Other than that, pretty minor. So I guess what my takeaway is I'm going to look to see if there's actually any good Verizon trade-in deals to take advantage of.
Keep me posted on how
I
good
will.
the deals
You know
are.
what I'm becoming aware of, which I don't like, is now, from what I understand, when you want to upgrade your phone, and they give you that trade-in deal of $800 or whatever it is, now they make you subsidize your phone for 3 years to get that credit. So you're basically locked into, all right, we give you, or if the phone's $400 or whatever the difference is, $300, they make you break that into 36 payments.
I don't like that.
But they make you do it, and if you pay it off early,
I always pay the upfront.
But if you pay it off early,
I'd much rather pay it and not have it be a part of my bill.
Well, and you might be able to pay it, but you are still locked into a 36-month agreement with them before you're allowed to upgrade again, which is really annoying that you are locked in for 3 years.
Yeah.
Because if you upgrade, let's say you want to upgrade early, well, then you'll say, well, you actually haven't had your phone long enough. So now we're going to not apply that credit to your account or whatever for the time that we were subsidizing your phone for you. Essentially.
They F you with the cell phones.
Yes, they do.
What is that? They F you with what's that movie with those movies, Lethal Weapon?
Lethal Weapon. Oh yeah.
Lethal Weapon. They F you with the cell phones.
Never seen them. So
have you seen any of them?
No, I actually haven't. I do remember, again, this is my signature move. I do remember they were always on HBO when I was little, and I remember we had HBO for a while and catching parts of it, but I never watched the whole thing of it. Lethal Weapon 4. That felt like that was wasn't Lethal Weapon 4 like in the late 90s?
Oh yeah, it's Chris Rock. That's Chris Rock in that one. Have you ever seen the Chris Rock, they F you with the cell phones thing?
No.
It's Lethal Weapon 4.
Yeah, 98. I remember it. I felt like that movie was everywhere. I would have been about 10, so probably just starting to become aware of that stuff then.
Okay. Yeah, they F you with the cell phone. Still true today. Still Fing you with the cell phones. Chris Rock was right. Oh, you know who else was right?
Who?
Our friend Big Grant at the Strength Co. They're big movers and shakers over there at the Strength Co. They of course have the greatest iron plates that are available on the market. They're made in America. They're smooth e-coated, black e-coated, a durable e-coating. We've had ours in the gym for several years now. Some have been gone to the Arnold and back. They've been
put through the ringer,
warm up room for powerlifting meets and back. They get used every day at the gym, and honest to God, the coating is extremely durable. Like there's some minor wear and tear, but they kind of, if you shined them up and wiped them down, they almost look brand new.
Some might say it's even better than the day we got them.
They are. They've just got like the slightest bit of patina, so you can tell they're used by real lifters and not just a showpiece. But they do actually look better than the day we got them, I would argue. Also, they were just keep on lookout on their YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribing to their channel if you don't already. But it's just at CT Fletcher's Iron Addicts Gym. We're swapping out a bunch of CT's plates for Strength Co plates. So that'll be some fun stuff to see there then. And I think they posted some about this, so this isn't letting the cat out of the bag. Stay tuned. It looks like bumper plates are coming soon from the Strength Co. So that'll be cool if you're someone that utilizes bumper plates in your training. So thank you, the Strength Co. Thanks for sponsoring.
And today's episode is also brought to you by Bearfoot Shoes and the brand spanking new collaboration with Massenomics, the Bearfoot Shoes Ursanomics. It combines strength, durability, and the comfort of suede leather with lightweight and breathable canvas for a shoe that sits at the top of the food chain. Its wide, flat physique offers a stable podium for your powerful paws, while its flexible nature promotes a gait as natural as a bear prowling western, northeast, South Dakota. Whether you're establishing dominance in the squat rack or your favorite watering hole, this sneaker has everything it's got to let people know you lift hard and live easy. You can reserve your pair of Ursanomic shoes now at www.barefoot.store, and you better get on it because there's only 250 pairs available, and
there's not that many available anymore.
It started with 250. It's significantly lower than that. Some sizes are selling out or damn near sold out, so you do not want to wait any longer. And orders, that's on pre-order right now, orders are expected to start shipping in October. So by the time you're hearing this, it's only a couple weeks away. And if you want to make the deal a little sweeter still, you can get yourself a pair of free Awesome Wraps from Bearfoot Shoes. All you got to do is when you're buying those shoes, add the Awesome Wraps to your cart, use code MASS, and you'll get the wraps for free. That's right, free! Thank you, Bearfoot Shoes.
Yeah, I was just on the site buying or getting a pair lined up for Big Phil, who is our winner of our drawing, who won a pair, and I was looking through the availability of sizing you can see on there, and there's a lot of sizes where there are not very many left. A lot of these have sold and been accounted for and been marked by people, so there is not almost, I would say no matter what size you are, if you're thinking about wanting a pair of these, I would not wait any longer. Probably don't wait until they're released, because I think there will be a push then when they're released, and it's very possible your sizing will be sold out. So I would go and get that, get it ordered now.
Man,
honestly,
I'm just going through these, and a lot of them, it tells you
it's like one
in stock, two in stock, one in stock, three in stock.
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to want to, very few of these have, a lot of these are under 5 in stock. So
yes,
you're going to want to get on that. 13 and a half, 14's gone. 15, there are 2 15s left. So your 15s, you're good. 16, you're screwed. 16's gone. So yeah, wow. Yeah, they are getting down there.
They are getting down there.
And once it's gone, it's gone.
It's gone for good. Anything else we need to hit on this week, Tommy?
That's probably good. I think it's bedtime, isn't it?
It's bedtime. Absolutely bedtime. It's like 4 hours past when I could have gone to bed today. Mm-hmm. So thanks everyone for listening. Go to Massenomics.com. Check out our shop. We'd love to have you buy a drink spotter, buy a t-shirt, buy a pair of lift shorts if you can afford them. Become a sporting member. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like us on Facebook. Like us on Instagram. Like us on TikTok. Just like us. We just literally in real life.
Please like me.
You know what? I like those guys. Those are a couple of likable guys. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird, but just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.